glasses are on. We're ready to go.
Welcome back.
We got the Two Monties podcast and the twins.
The twins.
Who are the twins?
Oh, yeah, we are.
Right, okay, because we look bald.
Oh,
Yeah,
bald
yeah.
and bearded. Who's the twins? Fucking idiot.
We had a wedding on the weekend, Monty and I together, where there were literally about 20 of the
So
same
many
person.
bald blokes with beards. So many. Both groomsmen.
Actually, we were talking about this before. Anzac Day caught up at Dudley Pub, and my favourite moment from the whole day is Monty King pisses a nit, screaming at a bloke tossing the coin, saying, "Throw the coins, you bald cunt!"
I felt I was qualified.
And everyone's looking at you, looking at him, and just laughing. Pot kettle black.
The wedding at the weekend too, I did laugh. There was a lot of bald blokes with beards, but the groom, great bloke, very funny fella, he's a bit of a shorter fella. In his stuff that he told me, he referred to himself as a short king. So
Yeah.
I'm not putting too much shade on him, but shorter fella. He was in like navy trousers with like this aqua blue coat, like it was very kind of dapper. And I go, mate, this is a great outfit. He goes, I've been called gay James Bond about 4 times.
Oh, now, Will, you've got quite a bit on your list.
I just wrote stuff in. I was like, what's some stuff that's happened
Do you want
to
me
me
to
on the last...
shout some at you and we can go with it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you already sent it to him.
I sent it to him
Very
last
good.
night.
I said to Lincoln, I just kept getting these messages of fucking one after the other. I'm like, why are you telling me this
I
now?
literally just went through my calendar. I'm like, what happened on that wedding? All right, here's a...
What about, I mean, there's a lot of, you'll like this. The old we got a monster-in-law story.
Fuck yes.
It was good.
See ya.
So it says here, mother of groom called the bride a cunt.
Yeah. I didn't want to put too much context on it because
At
it's
the
funny.
wedding.
So
Love this.
Lincoln and I travelled for our wedding. I'm not going to give too much like specifics, but we travelled for a wedding.
Was the bride a cunt?
That bride was lovely.
Okay, all right.
Um,
I'm all out of questions.
but we travelled to a wedding, and this one had a planner on it who'd been going through the whole thing. It was a small, like 30, 40 person wedding, all in one type thing. And we get there, and the planner pulled us aside straight away, and she was like, "Oh, by the way, there's a bit of tension going on in the in the room."
Yeah.
So yeah. Bit of tension going on. I'm like, "Oh, what's happened?" She's like, "Oh, yeah, so last night the mother of the groom decided she was going to get up and say that she pretty much hated the bride and she's a cunt." At like the night before the wedding, fully blew up in front of it, like everyone that was in the place. So everyone heard the whole thing, and we're all there. So we've turned up and we're like, "Oh, well, this is probably going to carry on through the rest of the day. There's going to be some trends." She kind of kept out of it for most of it. Ceremony finishes, and she straight away just bolts with her dad. She's got an elderly father. She's trying to get him out of the sun, but she's already very blunt with everyone around her. Anyway, the husband didn't necessarily agree with how she'd done everything. And then she had a big tanny of him not getting on side with her. Anyway, she got really upset that the husband didn't get on side with her and just decided she was going to take herself off, put herself in a dressing gown and not attend the rest of the wedding. It's in the same place. She's looking down from like the upper levels where the bedrooms are, looking down at everyone while like just up. She took herself to bed. It would have been like 2:00.
In the afternoon.
Yeah, just decided she didn't want
And
to
never
be part
came
of-
back?
Never came back. Wasn't part
Fuck
of anything.
me.
Just
Fuck.
checked out for the remainder of
My
the evening.
next follow-up question, it's like this throws back to that other story about the bride catches the groom on the boob still, you know?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
heard that.
breastfeeding.
that's a callback to episode
That was
3.
Yeah. And it's like, is he still on the tit? Is that why he didn't side with the wife?
It wasn't the husband of it wasn't the new husband. It was the father of the thing. Didn't side with it. Didn't jump on her side. Oh, my dad can't be in the sun. Didn't stick around for like the big group photo. And the ceremony was no more than 10 minutes. Lincoln and I were on it. They just rushed through it. Didn't want to sit him around, and because she didn't side with him, just threw her tannies in a knot. And
So the
just
lesson
didn't want to
out
be part of
here
it.
is if you're a parent,
It's not about you.
it's not about you, and if you're going to act like that, you're a cunt and you shouldn't go.
I-
We're really leaning into the C-bomb
I have
these last few
I
episodes,
lied.
aren't we?
I have a monster-in-law story,
Go on.
Great.
and I'm going to try and do my best.
I mean, I don't know if
This is going to be a fucking...
I don't know if you should call Dill's mum a monster-in-law, but anyway.
I actually... I did give Mamba Jumba a very backhanded compliment the other day, but we'll get to that later. But my sister-in-law, her mother-in-law...
Go on. I'm trying to connect dots, yeah.
Yeah.
Sister. Okay, yep.
So my brother's wife,
Yep.
her mother-in-law
Fuck, I'm trying to connect dots. It's like Dexter. There's fucking little strings everywhere.
It's actually like a directly. Anyway, I'm just going to say that. Tried to announce their pregnancy the night before. The morning of
the wedding.
Fucking wedding. So my sister-in-law's mother-in-law. You work it out. So my brother's wife, it's her mother-in-law.
Yeah, okay.
And without saying who it is, you know I don't like this person.
Yeah.
You're on board?
Announced the morning of the wedding that they were
trying to fucking... I'm excited about this news, so I should be able to tell people.
Hold on to it for a week and then...
And it wasn't even getting announced at the fucking wedding, and it was because they'd had a miscarriage already, so it was too early to fucking announce. It was just that, all right, she's not going to be drinking at the wedding because she's fucking pregnant.
But tell the bride in confidence. Don't announce it, or the groom or whoever. Tell them in confidence. Don't...
No, as in the bride... No, the bride was pregnant. The fucking monster-in-law was trying to tell everyone about the fucking... that she's going to be a fucking grandma. When it was too early to tell, not her fucking news to tell, and there was this huge fucking stink.
So there should be a stink.
The morning of the wedding, and I was like, yeah, just like a real cunt thing to do.
Taking away someone else's news.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's I also, like, that's part of my, sometimes if I, when I'm doing the phone thing at the start, like I'll say, it's like, you know, social media stuff, you know, like let them announce to the world they've been married, the lovely photo they've chosen, not your shitty iPhone 3 version. It's like you've just had a baby and your aunt announces it to the world before you can get out of the ward. Just relax. Yeah. But what about the one we just did on the weekend?
Yeah.
I was going through the big, and like how heavy-handed I go with the put your phones away depends on how many phones I see already out.
Yeah.
And
you threw me under the bus at the start of it, didn't
I
you?
throw everybody under the bus. Oh, mate, I think what I said at the start is I said, because I always say, you know, particularly if I know the clickers, is like go, you know, this is Will and Matt. I know they take better photos than you, blah, blah, blah. But I said, you know, these attractive young men, it's Will and Matt. They are adequate photographers. But there was one lady who was I believe on the bride's side, but she, you know, they all seemed very lovely, but she had the phone out like the minute I started going. So now's the time. She and I.
You called her directly out.
Heaps of times. In the spiel about putting your phone away, I specifically said, like this far away from her while she's holding the phone up at me like that. For example, this lady who's doing it as I'm saying put it away and is ignoring me, don't do that.
Literally gave it to her.
And she kept doing it?
Yeah, she did. I think at the end she put it away. But I was like, you know, you're going to take these photos, you're going to take these tiny little photos on your tiny little camera that no one gives a shit about, and I don't know what you're going to do with them. For example, this lady's filming me giving this speech. I don't know who she's ever going to show this to.
You need a loaf of bread in your kit bag so you can put the 2 slices
You're an
in the
idiot
side
sandwich.
of her head. You're an idiot sandwich.
What are you? Yeah. But I don't know how I got there.
I don't know.
Anyway.
It's all good.
Monster-in-laws.
Yeah.
If you've got one, snap out of it.
Yeah. Everyone has an opinion on a wedding, though. When you have, like, a parent, they're always invested more than they should be.
I have that conversation when I'm sitting down with people, and I'll go, listen, here's the things that have to happen.
Yeah.
Full name, monoterm, line of vows, done. Anybody that tells you anything outside of that doesn't have to, and I am more than happy for you to say, we've spoken to the celebrant, and he said these are the only things we have to do. Everything else is negotiable. And I said, and I know and this is a sweeping sexist generalisation, but it's your mum, your grandma, your sister, your auntie, your female cousin. They're all telling you, you got to stand here, you got to wear this, you got to fucking do that. You don't have to do any of it.
Yeah.
Except that you definitely got to have a cake because we love cakes. Actually, when I rang you when you picked me up today, I bumped straight into Celeste from Butter Bakery.
Oh, there you go.
Butter Bakery.
I'm very excited. Well, fucking Kyle and Jamie told us that they're doing the long cake, the slab cake for their... That might be a surprise.
Slab cake? Like a
like
Sarah Lee slab?
Like
no,
instead of three-tier traditional...
It's like 6 feet long.
Hell yeah, that's sick.
I know.
Yeah, that's so good.
So Celeste came on the podcast, we're talking about like what do you want to do? What excites you in the cake world? And she's like,
slabs?
Not doing fucking 3 tiers, which are logistical nightmares and they're so overdone.
You have to travel them.
She's like, the old Costco special, which is not Costco. I'm taken away
That
from
style's
it.
become popular though. The long with the sort of like the piping on the edges.
Yeah. So moving on to your list, there's actually a couple of things I'd like to bring up.
Yeah.
I was thinking, Lincoln, too, just because of time, we'll just run through and then split it down the middle like we did with Brit's thing.
Oh.
That's talk, didn't need to be on the pod anyway.
Yeah,
But if we didn't do it on the pod, considering we're running through, where else would I say it?
exactly.
So I'm interested in, and I'm
Like
always,
that you're just picking from a list. These are
I
the
am,
things
and
that
I'm always interested in when there's a chance that a fellow wedding vendor is going to get shit on by someone that's not me. I'll just read exactly what you've written so I don't take any blame. I have a wedding with a vendor called a drapeologist.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, no, we'd have to cut that out.
No,
I said that.
no, but it's coming up. It's like
What?
May.
Drapeologist.
Drapeologist.
Have you heard this as a term?
Nobody.
No, but all I'm thinking of is carpet drapes. Do they
No.
match? Like
I'm thinking someone who
drapeologist.
just comes up and flicks the tablecloths to make sure they've...
Yeah, so I've got a wedding. Lincoln and I have one
I went to Fanny, not to
Yeah, I know.
tablecloths.
in like May 8th, where literally on the
Disgusting.
form it's listed as this job is
Did you say May 8th?
drapeologist.
Yeah, well,
May 8th. Yeah,
Huh?
May 8th.
Mate.
yeah,
mate.
but don't worry about keeping it anonymous.
Doesn't matter. It's not really shitting on
Wait,
anyone.
if you don't care, we don't care.
There's someone that has a job title of drapeologist, but this
Do you know
wedding
what
is-
that is?
Yeah, they're putting up drapes. That's it. They're literally created a term. You would have seen how this is a trend now, right? You've seen all the big sort of like set
What
up
I'm
drape
seeing as a
backgrounds.
trend is giving yourself a title that has a scientific ending to it, like ologist,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when
psychologist, physiologist,
Yeah. There's
no-
drapeologist.
when
Hence
I
why I
well,
went
it's like,
medical
it's
and
like
thought
a
it was
bar
about
person
cunts.
who calls himself a mixologist.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Or a
Yeah,
sandwich artist.
Yeah.
Or the underwater ceramic technician. It's like you were a dishy.
Yeah, right.
Underwater ceramic.
I
like that.
When Titus was born, I hadn't started doing this yet and was still in full stay-at-home dad land. No, it must have been when Ulysses was born. Yeah, when Ulysses was the second one. I was full stay-at-home dad land. I'm on the birth certificate as a domestic manager.
Well, you were a stay-at-home dad.
Because
at the point.
home slut wasn't really your
yeah,
vibe.
yeah. But because you can just put anything
House
you
bitch.
like, and I was like,
Yeah.
domestic manager.
I love
I had
That's
a-
on his birth
I
certificate.
had a groom once when we were doing the know him.
He tried so hard. Is it Noim? Noim's how you meant to say it, right?
And he's a
Rhymes with
stay-at-home
boing.
dad, and he goes to her, I'll just put down super dad. She looks at him and goes, you're not that fucking good, mate.
Very good. So,
Brutal.
yeah, drapeologist.
Drapeologist, yeah,
Just
yeah.
someone that's coming to hang drapes.
Yeah, the couple
Wowza.
have gone
Love
all
the
it's,
drape.
they became because drapes have become sort of like a trend of sorts in the last like 2 years. This couple have gone like all out with big red draping, very similar to sort of like how the gala had it.
Yeah,
a
like
year
a
ago.
Ravella,
Like
that's what I was
lots
gonna say,
lots of that sort of around the whole place. Lots of very similar. They looked at the gala and they're pretty much like yes, and the whole wedding is now that.
Right. Not at
see how that
Ravella,
goes.
though.
Not at Ravella.
Right.
At the lodge, Jembro.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
good
yeah.
one.
Just name everything. It doesn't matter. It's not like I'm hiding anything. He
Actually,
labels it as
the only wedding I've got in my head with a lot of drapes was at the lodge.
yeah.
So maybe it's their vibe. Yeah.
I don't know whether. I guess this is podcast talk. This is well, it's no. It's just out of interest. You know, the
I don't
lodge.
remind you where we are.
No, the owners of
I
that,
haven't been there before. It's
the
first time.
lodge, the farm.
The Woods Farm,
Yeah,
Darvis
yeah.
Bay,
They just bought the
the Cove is one
the
of
Cove. They bought Merribee, and they also bought up the valley here at Lochinvar. It was called something else, and it went bad, and they just bought it, and they now called the Sienna.
Sienna, that's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so same
You guys
owners.
went to
The
that
one that
thing,
went,
didn't you?
No.
went to shit in COVID and
Yeah. Forget that part. We don't want to
Yeah.
associate that with them. But yeah, they bought it. It's called the Sienna now.
It looks cool.
Looks very good. They've spent heaps of money there.
Yeah.
That was just out of interest because you said that, and I remembered it was all the
Yeah, all connected.
The Cove, the
yeah.
Woods Farm.
There's a bunch of
the
groups doing
Lodge,
that
Is
sort
it
of
the
stuff now, though.
Sienna?
The Sienna, yeah.
Yeah, right.
A lot of those, like, Salt Shoal Bay has the other one that's on the.
Salt.
No, there's like 3 that are now collected to Salt. I'm just trying to remember the names
Oh,
of them
right.
now. But
Salt's
yeah,
great.
Yeah, Salt's
Actually,
beautiful.
good friend of the show, Brittany Turner-Virgili. That's where her and Luke got ready there. He was in the downstairs.
Out of
She was
all the things
downstairs.
I say that you're like, fuck, did that Who gives a fuck where they got ready? Honestly,
just calling it back.
Sorry, Brit.
She was
Love
on
ya.
today's episode.
Can't say your last name. to save
Today's
your fucking
episode
life.
that aired
Don't give a
today,
flying
and we
fuck
talked about
where you
salt.
got ready for your wedding.
I thought it was a
No, it's-
reasonable fucking segue.
Yeah, I get it. I got how we
Fucking
got there.
hell. All right, then, let's talk about more couples identifying as poly.
Oh,
I'm assuming we don't mean Nesian.
Polypipe.
So like maybe I'm gonna guess 3 years ago, I had
Is poly where you
What's a cracker?
you got 5 sides.
you don't have a
That was such a
That
shit
was
dad
good.
joke.
That was good.
He enjoyed it way too much for what
I
that
got
was.
confused.
So you like
Polyamorous.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
what it's
yeah.
short for, not polypipe or fucking whatever. But
Well, so what's your
what does
question,
it
sir?
mean? What is it like? You fuck one
So,
person or 10?
I'm
10.
sure everyone determines it sort of differently that's inside that, and especially if you're getting married, right? It's either very open or they share people or
So
whatever.
There's lots of fluids.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to it, but I probably had my first
Experience.
like a couple who have like clearly said they were poly maybe 3 years ago, and I didn't have anything, so I knew or I was aware, so I could sort of not even cater to that, but if I'm more aware, it sort of opens up questioning and
Cater to
makes
that.
things
Well, I haven't sucked a dick before, but maybe
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to at the wedding.
100%. But
Bring 2 more cameras.
I had this wedding, and they kind of told me, and it really opened up sort of like my decision making and how I came into it. So I went into that, and I'm like, how can I identify and sort of make sure that I know what's happening moving forward? And I didn't have a lot of stuff around both religion and like different sects of that. So I'm like, I'm going to add to my questionnaire tick boxes, so you can sort of say where your background is. So if you're like polyamorous, if you're religious, if you've got like what things are important to you on your wedding day.
Great, another straight racist this weekend.
When religion's ticked, it's always like a few question marks there, because I'm like, why are you booking me? Because I'm outwardly not very much
I
that.
don't have any
But
of
the
those
amount of people that tick poly
Yeah.
is so much higher than I probably would have
Really?
accounted for. Yeah, what do you reckon? It comes through in about 4 or 5 times a year on a run sheet, so maybe like 7 or 8%. Yeah, but yeah, Lincoln loved
How do you
that.
find out it's accidentally?
It's near other boxes.
You put the word on them and they go, I'm getting married, sir.
Turns out he doesn't want a hand job. There you go. Now I know.
But the first one they had was interesting, because one of the couple were there, and their 2 people either side were people that they'd shared.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is fucking
Yeah.
cool and
Yeah,
weird
yeah,
and different,
yeah.
and I love it. I love it when something's like you turn up
Out
and
of
it's
the
completely
blue.
different from what you're
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to.
agreed.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the amount of people identifying as poly, even depending on what percentage they are, is so much higher than I probably expected. It's
You
cool.
just hope the celebrant's very specific. It's like A and B, you may now kiss, as opposed to hook
Yeah,
up.
not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely. Oh, that's another whole thing. We'll talk about that off pod. There's a whole other story there. We'll talk about that off pod. But yeah, that's more or less that.
So if you're poly, write in. Let us know.
100%.
Send us some photos. Here's one. It's not on your list. It was on my list, and I'd said to Lincoln,
Is it bad?
I'm going to keep this one up my sleeve till Will gets here, because
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got some thoughts.
Is it food related? Because I'm
No.
always bitching about food.
No, you have got one on here that said something about catering 2 weeks ago, but I will spiral if I talk about it. So I haven't brought it up yet. No, and we're going to fucking...
It's
This
about
is-
vendors, though, isn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be on par with the cake chat. I reckon we'll get some hate.
Yeah.
What...
I'm worried because I got to
How
really
do you
think
feel about
it.
like the rise of Skywalker, but the rise of content creators? How's the deep breath? I don't know. There was a deep breath there.
Look, Lincoln saw me update my contract and my questionnaire recently for it.
Right.
I am totally fine with it. If you're on a phone or you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
any of
yeah.
those sort of things, totally cool with it. As long as you're not really slowing down the day.
Yeah.
And like, my thought is always couple first. If you are, even us being there as photographers, you are impacting how the day runs.
Yeah.
And you're putting your own.
Well,
this
and
is how I
they're
want to
going to
approach
react
it.
differently to you as if they were on their own or whatever, you know.
100%. And kind of like content creators are there to capture the behind the scenes, but a lot of the time they are just filming what you're already doing as a photographer or a
Yeah.
videographer and then putting it out as their own. So they have no That's fine. It's fine how it sort of goes. I'm fine with it if you're using a phone. The moment it steps over into someone else bringing a DSLR, setting up audio, going through all that and taking that next step, that's probably where it's crossing a line for us.
We were talking about it before. Valid point. Other one is when they're like, I had one. I think it was in Sydney, but it was a Sydney
Doesn't matter.
content creator.
Neither of those details are important.
It was in fucking Canada.
Yeah.
But the photographer and videographer couldn't get a word in. There was no direction coming from them to the couple because they would have had to speak over the content creator. And
Lincoln told us that you wouldn't have taken kindly to that.
Oh, and I'm a bulldog.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, I take charge.
You stink and you lose hair all over my house.
The photo and video team were international, so
Yeah.
maybe English wasn't as strong point for them, but they were still paid to do that fucking job. And then this big bitch comes in.
You've got more firm opinions than me.
I just, it was an energy that I didn't like from the get-go. And then I found out what she did. And then watching her, just fucking bulldoze them, where, that there were 3 of them in the crew and have been paid to do photo and video, and they couldn't fucking do anything.
And I think...
Because she was just like, do this, and they're like...
Especially because the entry...
My literal thing is about saying now is the bar to entry is not low. It's non-existent.
Yeah, because everyone has a phone.
Oh, and I should have prefaced that by saying, work with great ones, love them.
Yeah, which is what I was going to say. And the reason I think I asked the question, and it was on my list, is just every time I log into Instagram at the moment, I'm
bombarded.
People, obviously they follow other wedding vendors, so they, build a network or whatever. Every second day I'm logging onto Instagram and I'm like, so-and-so has followed you. And when I look, it's a content creator and I'm like, who the fuck are you? And there's just been obviously this huge rise in numbers. And because the barrier to entry is so low in that, I'm just going to get a phone and do it on the side. And it's...
Yeah, you don't need to outlay 10 grand for the gear.
And there's nothing wrong. As you've said, I've got no issue. It's just another role that someone can fulfill. And to be honest... If anything, and I'll be a real piece of shit by saying this, but it's because people today have no fucking patience and can't wait fucking a week for it. Or even, most, I don't want to throw any photographers under the bus now, but most photographers will sling a preview to the couple within a day or 2 probably.
Yeah.
But people can't wait that long and they need fucking stuff like fucking now. And so that's opened the door for content creators, which is fine, but it's when if they're getting in front of photographers or videographers or trying to run a show or whatever, behind the scenes the first word is fucking behind.
Yeah. But it's difficult with this type of thing, especially in that scenario that you were talking about. Every photographer's different. Some people are a bit more introverted and they shoot a lot more documentary. So having someone come in that's just a big extrovert and just go, well, if you're not going to do it, which is me anyway, I'm a big extrovert, but it would suck to be a documentary photographer and get a person like that on your wedding day. It would completely ruin your coverage.
And not only that, but in all likelihood, most couples do a bit of research. They will know the style of photographer you are before they book you. And if they're booking a documentary style, more introverted, casual, whatever, and this person turns up and starts... I remember seeing a video of it was a first look with a dad and a bride. And so obviously, like you said, it's a moment.
Yeah.
And photographers and videographers will step back and give them space but still get the shot. And there was this chick with an iPhone, obviously, doing her thing, but in between the photographers and the bride and the dad and going, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is so lovely. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's like anything.
Are you a mother-in-law?
It's like anything. There's an etiquette to how you approach things. And
that's a good way to put it. It's the etiquette part of it that is not
because they're starting with no barrier and they're just coming in.
And I think if they're good and they work well with other vendors, then they're the ones that their businesses will explode because they're going to get recommended. Because especially for photo and video, if you get asked for a recommendation, there's going to be one that you recommend for 50 that you don't.
Oh, for sure.
Because the other 49 are fucking hopeless at it because you've seen their work and like,
There's-
So
100%. You get some amazing ones, and you get like, for example, I'm gonna just name a couple of people here.
Be careful.
So Bethany from Hype Girl, amazing. Like completely just sort of like background and everything she produces, and the same with like Hope as well. Like she's come along to a handful with us recently.
Yeah.
And you don't even notice they're there. Like they're the ones that you sort of.
It's Hope from Content Killers.
Yeah, for sure. Did I say? Yeah, I said.
You didn't
content-
say anything.
no,
mate. You
Hope,
fucking
anyway.
No,
just ignored
the
her.
King calls it content creations or something.
Content
I always
creation.
call it something different. But
Anyway.
Hope from Content Killers.
But
Crafty
yeah,
cunts.
she comes along and they're behind the scenes and they do what is on the tin. But
Yeah.
it's the ones that sort of like come in and they have firm opinions and big extroverts that are just
Yeah.
way too involved or too close or coming in with drones.
I mean,
and
I guess it's
absolutely
tough
everything
too
else.
because it's obviously very new.
Yeah.
Um,
It'll find its legs.
But
Yeah.
it is like, and it's not about like the vibe I got was it wasn't so much okay. The photographer and videographer are introverted or don't speak English or whatever the fuck it was. It wasn't that. It's like, oh, I'm the most important.
she would have been doing it regardless.
I'm the most important cunt here. I'm getting whatever shot I want whenever I want it, and was just like this couple didn't have a chance to sit down. Like, oh, let's do this now. Let's do this now.
But that's-
because she wanted it for the portfolio more than she wanted it for the actual
For the couple. And
for the
like Will
couple.
said,
But
couple
yeah,
first.
I think the longer you do this, the more you realize that every decision you should make should always be in like what will be best for them and understanding who the couple is as people before you even start.
And if you happen to get the best shot you've ever taken for a portfolio, fucking,
That's awesome.
that's the cherry
Yeah,
on top.
but it's not-
But they've paid you to be there for them.
It's like that. It's like when I MC in, and it's, more often than not a bride, but will come up and go, like, oh, is it all right if we do blah, blah, blah? Is it okay? I go, listen, I'm the paid help, mate.
Yeah.
It's your day.
Do whatever you want.
You come in here and you say, we're going to do this now. Can you make that happen? Like, don't ask me. Just tell me. It's your day.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that this is really becoming business talk, but the biggest thing we probably did about 3 years ago, we added a little, like more checkboxes there that sort of say, how do you want to use the time between canapé hour and your walk into reception? And we just put like boxes in on how long you want for like actual portrait photography and stuff. And that
what do your poly
lets-
ones say?
Sorry?
What do your poly ones say?
We don't want to. We want to go back to the room. No, but it literally, it lets you temper your own expectations of what it is. So if I go in and like I've got this absolutely stunning venue that I've been chasing for forever, but the couple tick that they want 20 minutes of photos,
Yeah.
then you kind of change your approach because you can see how they value things a little bit more on the day and they want to be there with their friends partying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can then, you don't put as much baggage on yourself to
Yeah,
try
yeah.
and do absolutely the best job because the
It's-
couple aren't, not
it's-
the best job, but you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah,
20
yeah.
minutes to do your best work.
It's very
quickly.
similar, and I say this to couples often because obviously we send a question, same thing, questionnaire. Because when you write the ceremony, you want it to be about the couple, not generic wedding bullshit, yada yada yada.
Like your rings.
Yeah, shut up. I can, like you just said though about picking them. So I've got a question in there about the wedding party because you want to, I don't normally do it in the ceremony, but if I'm emceeing, I'll do some stuff about the wedding party and
yeah.
thing. And then there's a bunch of questions about, how'd you meet? What do you love about each other? Blah, blah, blah. And it's really telling when I get one back where tell me a little bit. And I say, tell me like a sentence or two about each. Like I just want, this is Billy. He's my best mate since we were 5. He shit himself once in the fucking middle of Aldi.
Love that.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
But
Tell
some
me
of
where
them,
he shit himself. Every
you
single
get-
person.
yeah, but you get like this. Sometimes you'll get like this massive, like short story about each of the people, and then when I say, "Tell me what you love about each other," oh, he's got nice hair and nice eyes, and you get no, but exactly what you said though. It means that I go, okay, they're not comfortable with going on and on and on
Change your
about how
approach.
much they love each other. They're super comfortable talking about how much they love these people and
Yeah.
how important they are. So I change my approach and don't get too wound up in, well, how am I supposed to write this fucking story about if they don't tell me? And I go, well, because they don't want that fucking story.
Also, it then becomes less about you, and you can sort of just do your regular bit.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
You can change how you're approaching.
But yeah,
everything.
it's just really telling when you get the questions back where people are happy to say shit tons about these people that don't in the scheme of the day don't matter a fuck. And then
Yeah.
tell me these things you love about each other. Oh, she's a pretty good cook and I like her bum. And you're like, fuck.
Well, even
bro,
though my
like-
mum thinks my wife's a cunt.
Yeah.
still marrying her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So was it the bride that took herself away?
No,
Or the mother?
The
The
mother.
mum.
Ah,
The
fucking
mum. Yeah,
see ya.
it didn't matter. It would have been
Yeah.
cool if the bride had like just hanging out with the rest of the family.
Yeah.
Just me and the groom.
But the
smashing
groom's
babies.
mum was the one that cracked it and left.
So
Yeah.
while we're
know.
on to like monsters in law or whatever, the next one was parents overstepping.
That was kind of similar, but this is like back to what you were saying before, right? Parents have their own opinion of how their day should go because they went to a wedding the last wedding they went to was like 30, 40 years ago. I've had another celebrant friend, I'm not going to name because this is their story and I don't know if they're comfortable with it, but like having parents, like the kiss was after the signing and parents heckling, just going, you forgot the kiss just on the side, like just triggered straight away.
You forgot your manners, you rude cunt. Shut up.
Just wait, not everything always happens the same time that your wedding did 40 years ago, Beryl.
Yeah.